today's lesson is of volumes of prisms and cylinders. Part 1, we're just going to stick with the prisms. Then part 2, we'll do some more of cylinders. Now, before we start, I would like to go through the definitions of area and volume and capacity. Area. The area is amount of space a flat shape takes up. So it's not a 3D shapes, it's just flat 2D shapes. An area is measured in square units. For example, square meters, square centimeters. Now, I've got this green man is thinking, how much paint do I need to paint this door? Door surface is flat shape, isn't it? We're talking about the surface. So the characteristics of area, the first characteristics we have here is empty flat surface or space, but I prefer surface. Surface sounds like it's a flat. Second, it has to be 2D shapes. It can't be solid or 3D shapes. They're measured in square meters or square centimeters. Let's have a look at volume. Volume of a solid, again, here is a 3D shapes we're talking about. So area is the one that is a 2D shape, the flat, whereas a volume is solid, 3D shape, is the amount of space it occupies that you can contain, okay? And also volume is measured in a cubic unit, like for example, cubic meters, cubic centimeters. So for example, this green man is talking, how big is this room? We're talking about space that you can contain. Now, with that volume, there's another thing coming along, like brothers and sisters sort of type, can't go without. It's called capacity. Capacity of a container, again, this is telling us it's a 3D shapes. Capacity is only go with volume. Capacity doesn't go with area. Capacity is amount of fluid it holds, like, water, gas or sand sort of thing, that it fills up the container. Use the measurements such as milliliter, liter, kiloliters, and megaliters. So this green man is asking himself, how much water can this container hold? Like a bottle of drink. So that's capacity. On the bottle it says 2 liters, right? That's capacity, the liquid that container can hold. But if we want to know the empty space of the solid is the volume. If we can fill up flat surface like a paint, we need area. All right, so that leads us to the summary box talking about 1 cubic centimeter contains 1 milliliter. Because volume and capacity is like, brother and sister, changeable. So the cubic centimeters can translate it into milliliter, and cubic meter can translate it to kiloliter or liter. That's what this summary is talking about. Volume of a prism. We will talk about the units next part. Today, we're just going to concentrate on finding a volume, how to use formula for volume. Volume of a prism terminology, the language that you need to get used to. First one is a cross-section of a solid. In this case, is a prism, is a slice of the solid cut across it. Imagine a loaf of bread here, and I'm slicing it. Okay, bread, think of bread as a rectangular prism, and I'm slicing it. And when it says here, parallel to its end faces, now these are the end faces, this one and this one, they are the end faces. So they are facing each other, face to face. That's what we call parallel to each other. So you're cutting it parallel to each other so that each slice is exactly same size and same shape. A prism has the same cross-section. That's what we just talked about. And cross-section is 2D shape because it says a polygon. Polygon is a closed shape, 2D shape. So for example, for this particular loaf of bread, we're thinking as a prism, has each slice is square. It could be rectangle, could be many different 2D shapes. For example, like this triangular prism, if I have a cross section, cut it and take the slice out, it'll be triangle. If it's a square prism, in other words, it's a cube, if I slice it, it'll be square shape. Now, of course, a trapezoidal prism, if I cut it, slice it, it'll be trapezium. Another word that you need to think about here is the end face of a prism. It's called base. The one that it's going to be on the floor. That's my triangular prism base here. A square prism base could be on the top here. That's my base. The base will give us a cross-section 2D shape. Because a prism is made up of identical cross-sections, its volume can be calculated by multiplying the area of its base by its perpendicular height. Okay, so if we can find the area of base, which is the 2D shape, cross-section, and then times by the height, which is the perpendicular to the base, you can get volume. In a nutshell, this is what it means. The important formula is this one that you have to remember. Capital A stands for area of base. Okay, that's the base here. This is a trapezoidal prism here, right there. H is the height. The height is perpendicular to the base. Find the volume of each prism. So we got 3 prisms here. Part A, I've got rectangular prism. So therefore, my base shape is rectangle. This is my base. So we need to find the volume. To find the volume, we need to have area of base and the height. What is my height of this rectangular prism? It's 30 because it has to be perpendicular to my base. One thing I've just noticed with my rectangle, the base, I've got 42 as one side. What's this the other side? Because you need to have base times height. So you need to have 2 measurements. I only got 42 here. What's the other one? So what's this one? That's 15, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to put 15 here. So now I have base, I have a height. It doesn't really matter which one you're going to call it as a base or height because we're just going to times it together. I'm going to times this, so 42 times 15, that would be 630 square centimeters. So now we can calculate the volume of this rectangular prism. So when I do that, I had 630 square centimeters times the height, which is 30 centimeters. Now, can you see all these units here? It's like almost like you're doing algebra. A squared times A, there's a power of 1 there, but we can't see, is A to power of 3. Remember? The 2 plus 1. So it's a very similar to that concept. So you are timesing square centimeters times centimeters. So the answer is 18,900 cubic centimeters. Okay, that's our volume. Part B. Let's have a look at triangular prism here. What is my height for triangular prism? It's not 3. It's 10 centimeters. It has to be perpendicular to the base. Our base is the triangle. So be very careful when you pick the height, it has to be perpendicular to the base, not the height of the base shape. I want to find out the area of triangle here now. What's the formula for area of triangle? Remember, triangle is the half of square or rectangle. So I will have to put half times. Now we're looking at this triangle. What is my base and what is my height? My base is 5 meters. Height is 3 meters. And you put all that in your calculator, you get 7.5 square meters. That's another good one to have to memorize. Why is the area units all squared? It's because you're timesing 2 units together, so you'll get power of 2. Now I can find the volume. So I will just put that in, 7.5 square meters times 10 meters. Put it all that in your calculator, you will get 75 cubic meters. Part C, we got trapezoidal prism, which means it has trapezium as the base. Let's have a look at the height of this prism, not the height of the base shape. Which will that be? Is 3 the height for the prism? No, that's the height for the base. It is this one. When you put straight up this trapezoidal prism, it'll be 4 centimeters tall. And now I need to find area of base. So I'm looking at trapezium here. The trapezium is something looks like triangle. You can form a triangle with this. It's like a triangle. So a half times base times height. But with the trapezium, you have 2 bases. One on top, one on bottom, and then height. So it's a bit like area of triangle, but only thing trapezium has is 2 bases. So half stays same times top base is 4 and the bottom base is 6. The height has to be perpendicular to those 2 bases. So it's going to be 3. When you put all that in your calculator, you will get 15 square centimeters. Now I can find the volume. Volume equals area of base times height. So it will be 15 square centimeters times the height is 4 centimeters. You put that in your calculator, you will get 60 cubic centimeters. This question is also finding volume of each solid, but have a look at the diagrams. It actually gives you the area of base. So we don't have to calculate the area of base. Part A. What kind of prism is this cylinder? It's like a circular prism. The area of circle is given to us, 63.1 square meters. That's why I know this is area. It says square meters. Height of the cylinder is 8 meters. So the volume is area of base times height, 63.1 square meters times 8 meters, 504.8 cubic meters. Part B, this is a triangular prism. Area of the triangle is given to us. It's 27.5 square centimeters. And the height of the prism is 38 centimeters. For the volume, area of base times the height, 27.5 square centimeters times 38 centimeters, 1045 cubic centimeters. Okay, the last one, how many sides does this one has? 8. So octagonal prism. Lucky for us, we don't have to calculate the area. Phew. It'll be 312 square centimeters. The height is 64 centimeters. So the volume of this prism is area of base times height. Area of base is 312 square centimeters times 64 centimeters, 1,968 cubic centimeters. Okay, that's it. That's all for today's lesson. Well done.